Hello friends, welcome to my channel of Bad Decisions and Pure Awkwardness. I'm your host Elizabeth. As you can see, today is Valentine's Day, so I made some cute little earrings out of ornaments from Michaels. So today we're going to be doing obviously a Valentine's Day look. I want to do a red look, which I've been experimenting with on my Instagram, so if you're interested, go check that out. I'll link it in the description box if I remember. And I played with this the other day. This is the Oden's Eye Legendary Diversa Collection Red Dragon palette with collaboration with Judy. This is what it looks like. The other day I kind of did like a basic red look, like a pretty simple, quick look with this shade. I think I might have used this one or this one, I can't remember, and then the multi-chrome here. On camera it looks kind of greenish, like a grungy green, but maybe like right there you can kind of see the red. So I do want to play with this, but I also want to play with, what is this, amber? And maybe I might do mostly this, blend it out with this. We'll see. I'll have pictures of my other Valentine's Day looks. A lot of them are red. I did a couple like pinky kind of looks using the Natasha Denona eyeshadow base. And I'm using this brush. I've been using it to blend out my eyeshadow base, and I really like it. It's like a dense, packed brush, and it's very quick to blend out my eyeshadow base. So today I kind of wanted to do this look, but also talk about dating. I said I was going to do this video for a while, and I wasn't sure how to approach it. Just like a general disclaimer, I guess. I'm not at all like bashing any of these guys that I dated. I'm just stating like what was awkward for me and what, if you are dating, what might not work on somebody. I can't say that like I'm a perfect date either by any means. I'm sure I know that I've done some awkward stuff in the past. So I'm just explaining my experience in dating and how awkward it has been and weird. Yeah. I think I'm gonna go into Dragon first. It's this bright red, which I like the bright red because it matches my earrings. And I'm gonna put that in my crease. I went on a date with this guy a long time ago, and it was probably a mistake from the beginning, just because he was kind of awkward from the beginning. I met him at the mall, which probably mistake number one. You never go out with a guy like you meet in a mall. So, met this guy at the mall. I worked in one place. He worked like across from me at another place. He came over. He started chatting me up. I think he chatted me up a couple times and then asked me out. And I was just like trying to get over somebody. I was, still like, meh. I just kind of want to like date around, I guess, and see what's out there. And that's what I was doing. So I was like, all right, fine. And he seemed okay, decent. I didn't know him very well, but I was like, I'm going out on a date. You go out on dates to meet new people. Dating's weird. So went out with him. He picked me up in his big truck. He called it his jacked up truck. And first of all, that is not like, maybe that gets some girls going, but it does nothing for me. Absolutely nothing. And the fact that he bragged about it made it even weirder. So he picks me up. We go to dinner. First of all, he didn't pick a place to begin with, which is fine, but I was kind of just like, just pick somewhere. I said, as long as it's not like a buffet, I don't really care. Also, by the way, I'm drinking gin, elderflower tonic, and a little bit of lime. Is it limeade or lime juice? It was limeade. It's good. And this cup is from one of my friends. This is a Valentine's Day gift. Thank you, Danielle. I'm going to blend the edges with this color. It's called Serene. It's like an orangey color, orangey matte. So I'm just going like kind of on the edge and just kind of blending a bit. Looks like somebody might have like hit me in the eye, but that's okay. We're going with it. Just like you do with dating. You just go with it. See what works, see what doesn't. So he asked me where I want to go for dinner. And I said, I don't care as long as it's not a buffet. I hate buffets. They gross me out. I said, well, how about, I don't know, I think I said Outback or something like that. And he was like, oh, my ex-girlfriend works there. And I knew his ex-girlfriend. I grew up with his ex-girlfriend. So I was like, yeah, that's not going to be good. So I said no. He's like, no, it's your night. You picked that. We'll go there. And I said, no, that's really awkward for me. No, we're not going there. So now I'm going into Fire. It's this, it looks brown on camera, but it's like a dark red. So I think we decided on Applebee's because I suggested it. He also said, well, I kind of got sick when I was there. And I said, we don't have to go there. There are tons of other places we can eat. You know, I don't want to get you sick again. And he was like, no, it's your night. We'll do it. And by that point in time, I was like, okay, fine. Like, if you get sick, don't blame me. I said we could go somewhere else. So, as you can kind of already tell, I was kind of like annoyed already. So, we get to Applebee's. He'd ordered the same thing that he ordered the previous time whenever he ate there that made him sick. And I was like, again, don't blame me if you get sick. So then we had some time before the movies, and we were driving around, and he saw a basketball court. So we stopped. He has a basketball. Mind you, this guy was not very tall, which is fine, but he kept trying to kind of impress me, which was weird. Like, that doesn't work on me. Maybe it works on some people, but it was like, if you're trying too hard, that automatically like turns me off. So he's like trying to play basketball and I guess impress me. Meanwhile, there's guys on the other court like dunking, and they're like, you know, over 6 feet tall, and this guy's trying to impress me, and it was not working. So then also, he was wearing jean shorts, trying to play basketball, with a shirt tucked in. Again, if that's what you like, okay. But the logistics don't make sense to me. Anyway, I'm using my glitter glue that I use for everything. It's from NYX. And I'm just gonna like kind of, I think, pat that on like the inner corner. Still had some time, so he drives to his house. Mind you, I didn't know he lived with his parents at the time. So I met his parents. And he lived in a really nice neighborhood. He had like really nice things in his house. And he's like, oh, do you like this like marble sculpture? And oh, I had this signed by so-and-so. And I was like, I don't really care. But I was polite. And I was a lot shyer back then, so I didn't want to say anything to like be rude. I probably still wouldn't say anything, but I'd probably get out of there as fast as I could prior to this. So I'm putting the multi-chrome right in the middle, and I'm working it towards that inner corner. I'm going to put a brighter shade in that inner corner though. So anyway, we got to his parents' house. He's trying to impress me. We went in the basement. He's showing me around, and he showed me his, ooh, that's pretty. He showed me like his basement, which was like a game room / like theater. And he's like, "Oh, we should have just come here and we could have like sat on the couch and cuddled." And I was like, first of all, you barely know me. For all you know, I could be an axe murderer and kill your family. We're sure as heck not gonna cuddle. But I didn't say all that. I was just like, no thanks. I'm not ready for that, or something like that. So then, now I'm taking Overheat. It's this color right here. It's this brighter shimmer. Then I meet his parents. Mom's really cool. His dad seemed okay, but I would have rather dated his mom than this guy, because she was actually like pretty chill and nice. But I was kind of annoyed with the son, my date, by then. I was just like, ugh. And this, like I said, I was being polite, and I think this was before I had like a really good cell phone. I don't think I had a smartphone at that time. I think I was still like running on minutes as opposed to like an unlimited plan, you know, so. And none of my friends from college like lived around me, so it's not like I could call one of them and be like, "Hey, come get me." Okay, I think I like where this is going. This is pretty. I'm going to add a little bit more of that multi-chrome just to kind of go back and forth. So eventually we went to the movie. And he kept saying things like, "Oh, when we hook up, when we get together." So finally I was just honest with him. I said, "Look, I am trying to get over somebody." And I don't think I said it that way. I said, I don't want to give you the wrong impression. I've just dated somebody and not really looking for anything serious. You know, so I can't guarantee there will be a second date. So I just want to be upfront. And he was like, "Oh yeah, that's fine, you know." Okay, I had to get my hair out of my face, so I used the scarf that this palette came with. By the way, I just bought the new palette in the collection from Angelica Nyquist. Really excited about that, so when that comes, I'll make a video. I have been using this Dermablend foundation. It's a smooth liquid camo medium coverage foundation. I would say it's like medium to full coverage. I wouldn't say it's completely like medium, because it really covers a lot, and it looks a little too dark for my skin once I first put it on, but then you blend it out and it's fine. Sometimes if I want like a lighter coverage, I will mix it with like some liquid highlighter, but once it's blended out, it doesn't look so bad. And I have lighter concealer, so it'll all work out. Trust me. Trust the process. So yeah, this guy, by the time we were going to the movies, I was like so freaking annoyed with this guy. I couldn't anymore. He was very nice, but it was all like, we're gonna do whatever you want to do. And I hate that. I hate it. It's not about me. It's about us and making a decision together, and I just don't like that. And then anytime I would say like, "Well, what about this?" He'd be like, It's like, well, then don't say it's about me if you don't want to do it. So he also, like, after I told him that I couldn't guarantee like a second date, he also like started acting weird about that. and saying things like, oh, you're thinking about your ex, aren't you? And I'm like, no, I'm really not. Like, I just don't want to date anybody seriously. Like, the point of dating is to see if you like a person and to see if you're, like, compatible. It's not like a guarantee that you're gonna, like, be boyfriend and girlfriend after the first date. Maybe it works out that way sometimes, but not in my case most of the time. Also, I burned myself with my straightener, so ignore that. So anyway, we get to the movie. We're trying to decide on a movie. Again, it was, oh, well, you know, it's your day or something like that. And I was like, oh, okay, fine. We're going to see X-Men 3. I think it was X-Men 3. And he was like, well, I haven't seen the first 2 or something like that. I was like, I'll catch you up. Don't worry. Because by then I was just like, let's get this over with. Let's get this date done. I just got this concealer and I really, really like it. It's the NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop concealer. It's pretty good. It's nice and creamy. I like it. So we get into the movie and he won't stop staring at me the entire movie. So it's not even like I could enjoy the movie because the whole entire time he just wanted to stare at me. And then every time I'd be like, what? He would be like, nothing. And then he did that so many times to the point where I was just like, oh my God, leave me alone. And then finally he said something like, oh, you're thinking about your ex, aren't you? When I'm sitting here watching the movie, that's all I was doing. He kept trying to make out with me as well. Which, how old are we? I think I was 20, 21, 20? I don't know. I'm not a 12-year-old trying to make out in the movie theaters. Sorry. And there were, like, lots of people in the theater, so it would be really weird if we made out in the theater. And it wasn't even, like, a movie that you want to make out to. It was X-Men. So, at one point he says, oh, you're thinking about your ex. And finally I was just so annoyed. I was like, yeah, I am. Now I am. Because you're freaking annoying me. I was just so, like, fed up by then. I was like, I don't even care anymore. Movie ends. He's driving me home. There are 2 ways to get to my house. You can go interstate. Well, my parents' house at the time. You can go the interstate or you can take, like, back roads. And that takes a lot longer. And so he took the back roads. His dad was a car dealer. So he took me to his dad's, like, car dealership. And then he starts trying to sell me a car. Well, what kind of car do you want? I'm not in the business of looking for a car. I mean, I never asked you to show me cars. You can drive one of these cars back to your house and, like, see if you like it. Like, test drive it. And I was like, no, I don't want to. Just take me home. Then he stopped at these, like, state troopers that were, like, sitting alongside the road. And he's, like, talking to them because his dad knew them or something. And they're saying things like, talking to me as if, like, I'm his girlfriend. And I'm like, who? No. And things like, oh, you know, when we get together and stuff. And I'm like, I barely know you. I don't even know these people. Why are you acting like we're girlfriend and boyfriend? So yeah, I was pretty annoyed by then. Finally, we get back to my house. I think by then he could tell that I was, like, annoyed because he kept saying, oh, you're thinking about your ex, aren't you? And I was like, no. So he's like, well, I'll just lose your number. And I was like, hey, you know, it's whatever you want to do, dude. Like, I explained to you in the beginning that I don't know where I want this to go. And he said, well, you know, tomorrow before you go to work, because I worked at 11, before you go to work, maybe you can come over and we can cuddle. And I was like, yeah, not gonna happen. And then we got to my house and he was like, hey, can I have a kiss? And I was just like, no, and shut the door and like ran up my driveway. So the next day, oh yeah, it keeps going on. The next day, exactly 11 o'clock, he starts calling me. And I'm not even joking. He called me like 9 times in the span of like an hour. And I was just like, and again, I didn't have like the ability to, I guess I could have shut my phone off, but then I wouldn't get other, phone calls. But there was no way to like really block his number, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, he called me all day. And finally, like, I guess he got the hint that I wanted nothing to do with him. So he stopped. And mind you, I did not lead this guy on by any means. I told him multiple times, like, okay, no second date, all right? Like, this is it. I'm sorry, but we're just not compatible. And, yeah, he called me more than once. And then, a couple months later, going to powder my face with the Juvia's Place powder. So, a few months later, I see him at the mall again. And he's talking to some girls. And I'm just like, oh God, I hope he doesn't see me. And I was working. And of course, he saw me. He came right to me. But then I was seeing this other guy. Oh, I just got powder all over my earring. Man. Oh well. I was talking to some other guy who was also a douchebag. But like in a different way. And we weren't like serious. But we were talking and, I thought things were going somewhere. But I was not interested in like dating other people, and especially not this guy. Using the e.l.f. primer infused bronzer in Sunkissed, or Forever Sunkissed. So he comes over and he's like, oh, how you been, And I'm like, oh, I'm fine. Everything's good. And he says, well, I tried to call you. I was like, I know. And I said something along the lines of like, well, I'm just not interested. And then I said, well, I'm kind of like seeing somebody right now. Anyway. And he said, oh, is it like your ex-boyfriend? And I was like, no, somebody else. And, I'm just kind of seeing this guy. So I'm not interested in talking to other people. And he was like, oh, okay. So immediately after saying that, I'm going to use this color right here in the Juvia's Place Hair and Blush palette. Using this kind of, what do you call this? A small powder brush. So anyway, immediately after I told him, like, I'm kind of seeing somebody, he says, oh, well, can I call you? And I said, no, I'm seeing somebody. And then he is like, oh, okay. Can I call you? I swear to God, this happened. He said that. And I'm just like, no. I mean, I know as women we are trained to be like polite with men, and when guys don't take the hint, we're supposed to feel bad. Don't ever feel that way, please, especially when it's like something like this where the guy's just not getting it. He's just not getting it in his head that you are not interested, even though you've told him a million times. Just be absolutely blunt with him. So finally he walked away, and I never saw him again. Thank God. God, that took forever to tell that story. And it makes me mad that it takes me forever to tell that story. I'm going to use Frostbite in this palette. It's the Priest and Aspen palette by BH. I've had some weird dating experiences besides that. All from online dates. And one time I was with a guy. I went on one date with him. And at the time I was kind of like, well, you know, like first dates can be kind of awkward unless he's like really doing something annoying. Like, I'm not worried about it. Like, I'll go on another date with him. Or if he's like, you know, seems kind of normal. So he was from, you know, maybe like 50 minutes from me, which isn't that long in my head, but apparently for him it was. So I kind of found the halfway point, and I was like, hey, let's meet here, and, you know, let's go out here. Well, the place we were going to meet at was closed. So we ended up going to this bar, and it was like honky-tonky, like, you know, like a towny bar, which, fine. I didn't really have a whole lot for me to eat since I'm like gluten-free and, you know, sensitive with everything. I'm going to take this liner in Charmer from ColourPop and do my waterline. And it's more of like a purpley, but I think once I put the eyeshadow on, it's going to show up more red. So we go to this bar to eat and to chat. And honestly, like, he wasn't that bad. He was okay. And enough for me to, like, be like, okay, yeah, like, let's go on a second date. So our second date, oh, first of all, he complained about where we met, which was not cool. He was like, oh God, it's so far away. I'm like, well, if you're, you know, worried about going halfway, 25 minutes out of your way, then you're not gonna like dating me, because that's just the reality of our situation. I'm not moving right away. So anyway, I'm gonna take that fire shade, the dark red, and put that on my lower lash and kind of in my waterline as well. So besides that, the date went fine. It wasn't like, you know, oh my God, I love this guy. Oh my God, we have such a great conversation. But it was like fun. So we were planning a second date, and he wanted me to come up near where he lived, which was like more like a little over an hour away from where I lived. And I was fine with that, but he wanted to go like drinking. And I was like, I don't know if I'm like really that comfortable like going out drinking and then having to drive home. And he's like, oh no, you're gonna stay with me. And I was like, that's presumptuous of you. And I was like, it's only a second date. I'm not really interested in that right now. Maybe some other time I'll stay. And it wasn't even his house. It was like a friend's house or something. So it was like not even somebody that I had met before. And this is a second date. You want me to stay at some stranger's house? No, I'm not doing that. And maybe some girls are like comfortable with that, but my safety bells were just like really ringing. Alert, alert. So I was like, no. And then he got mad at me because I said I did not want to stay with strangers. He's like, they're not strangers. They're my friends. And I'm like, they're strangers to me. I'm going to take my highlighter shade, this one, and I'm going to use my inner corner with that. Just to give it some life. After that, he started kind of like berating me and telling me that I wasn't that accepting. So he told me that he, I don't know what you call it, did snuff? Chewing tobacco? I don't know what it's called. Anyway, he told me he did that, and I said I didn't like that. And he said, well, you're not very accepting, are you? And I was like, no, I'm just know what I like and what I don't like when I'm dating people. Oh, well, at least I'm not, what did he say? Like, at least I'm not a cougar or something like that, because I told him that I dated a guy that was like 5 years younger than me. And he was like, putting me down for that. And I was just like, that doesn't hurt my feelings. So needless to say, I was like, I don't think we're right for each other. So I'm going to go now. And we never spoke again. And I was totally okay with that. I was very mad that I didn't want to talk to him anymore. The guy that I dated that was much younger than me, he lived with his ex-girlfriend, which was real sketchy from the beginning. But didn't have a problem with it until he started posting pictures of them together. Then I was like, okay. But then I'm also 99% sure that he was like cheating on me with somebody else anyway. So not even the ex-girlfriend, which he might have been, who knows. But there was that too. So don't do that in a relationship. Probably not a good idea. Okay, time for some mascara and lashes. I've been using these Demi-Wispy Faux Mink Lashes from Ardell, and they are very pretty and very easy to attach to my eyeball. So there's a lot of cat hair in them, which means somebody was trying to eat them. So I didn't want to be like completely negative in this video, because I have had some good experiences. And when I was sitting down trying to think of like nice experiences that I've had with dates or guys, I have had a few. No, I had a guy once go ice skating with me, which is not romantic by any means, especially if you can't ice skate like I can't, and even more especially if you are clumsy like I am. Not a fun time, especially when he was a hockey player or something like that. He could skate, we'll say that. But he indulged me by going skating with me, and I could tell he was like bored out of his mind. And I felt really bad. At the same time, like, he was a champ. I had a guy more recently. We were talking at a bar somewhere, and we were just like chit-chatting and everything. And I said something along the lines of like, you know what I really like? I really like just like a charcuterie board. And I think we had just eaten, and I was like, I love pizza and everything, but like charcuterie board is pretty good. I just like eating like snacky stuff. I told him I liked charcuteries, and he kind of like laughed, and I was like, what? Like, they're good. And he's like, nothing, no. So then a little later, we went to this little spot. It's like, kind of in the woods. Really cool, like by the river and everything. And lo and behold, guess what he has in his Jeep that he's had the whole time, even whenever I said, I like a good charcuterie board. He had a little meat and cheese tray. Now, I didn't have wine or anything, but it was still very thoughtful and cute. And I told him so. But, so that was a good experience. I don't want to just seem like a bitch and shit on guys and like how shitty they are sometimes. Sometimes they can be okay. I also had a guy write some songs for me, which was pretty romantic. He wrote one of the songs before we were like actually together, like before we were even dating, or even like romantically involved. And I had a hard time not being attracted to him after that. So, heads up, guys. Writing a song for a lady. It's a pretty good idea. Unless you're a guy that's like, won't take no for an answer. Like, as far as like, oh, do you want to date me? No. Then just leave her the hell alone, okay? If you are a man who is interested in the lady and she seems to be interested back, I would say writing a song, not a bad idea. And then he continued to write songs for me. After that, he wrote, I think, 2 or 3. I think 3 songs for me. Which is probably why I stayed with him way too long. And probably why I had a hard time getting over him at first. Other than that, he did not treat me that great. But, you know, looking back, you live, you learn, right? From all the people that you date, what you want, what you don't want, who you want, and that can change over time, which it sure did with me. There was a guy in college that I was absolutely in love with, like 3 years of my life. 2 or 3 years of my life. And looking back now, I'm like, I'm so glad that didn't work out. Guy from my high school that I liked for years and years and years. Would I date him now? Absolutely not. We were 2 very different people, and, you know, we want very different things, and I know that now. And while I'm not dating anybody now, I am on like the dating apps, and I don't know, it just kind of sucks sometimes, you know, not meeting people in person anymore, which is probably the safe thing with COVID and everything, but I don't know. It's just different. It's nice when you know somebody or you've known somebody, and you've got like kind of a history with that person, you know? But then it's just, I feel like it's more authentic when you meet somebody in person and you get that like feeling rather than seeing person's profile, and I don't know, it's just not as romantic, you know, and I get it, it's a different time, it's a different era, but I just miss the butterfly feeling, like when you first meet somebody and you have gotten to know them. I don't know, I just miss meeting guys in person, or seeing somebody you haven't seen in a long time and having that connection. It's nice to have that base, that foundation, I guess. It's nice to have, but I know that's not always realistic. I don't know. As I get older, I'm kind of like okay with being alone in some ways, but also like getting incredibly lonely. So while I know what I want and I am selective about who I go out with, especially in this day and age with COVID, and you don't want to just go out with anybody because it's like waste your time and you're putting your health at risk, I guess. Just feel like I miss socializing, I guess, in general. Not just in dating, but just in general, like going to a bar and like sitting at the bar and chatting with a friend, or going out with friends and like dancing and going out to eat with a guy and just having a really good chat. And yeah, right before lockdown, I think I mentioned in another video, I went out with a guy once It was literally like the day before lockdown, or like maybe 2 days. I think it was the day before. And having a really good connection, and then lockdown just like changed that. At least I think that's what happened. I'm not entirely sure because we never spoke again. I mean, I think we talked like maybe once after that, after the date, and then nothing. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of bumming myself out now because I'm single. I guess it's interesting to like reflect on all the men I've dated and like how different all of them were. It's nice to have companionship, I guess, and that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm trying to build myself back up because I've not had a great year or 2 years as far as like my self-esteem. My self-esteem like really took a hit. And I guess really what the point of this video is, I'm trying to love myself more than anyone else. And whatever happens in the future, I guess happens. But for now, I've just got to keep working on liking and loving myself and appreciating the good things about myself and appreciating, yeah, that I am like a caring, loving person. And I guess, you know, all the other stuff will fall into place. But cheers and happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Cheesy montage. Okay, what did you think of the video? What do you think of the look? Do you like my earrings? Do you want some? I'll send them to you. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure you like and subscribe and do all the things that I'm supposed to ask you to do. Yeah, let me know what videos you want to see next. Let me hear about your dating experiences, your weird, awkward experiences, even if it's about you. Did you have a weird, awkward dating experience that was caused by you? Let me know. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Okay, bye.